If you're looking to get started with decluttering or even just have a fresh start, this video is for you. I'll be sharing 8 tips to help you simplify your space, even if you're starting at this for the first time. Hello and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and in today's video, I put together some of my best and most actionable steps, whether you're starting your decluttering journey for the first time, or maybe you are restarting it. You've tried before, but weren't able to make the progress you were looking to make. I'll go through these tips here that provide good general guidelines to help you in your process. And as I go through these tips, if you're looking for a little bit of extra support and a few additional tools, you'll definitely want to check out my free decluttering roadmap, which is linked in the description field below. Now, tip number 1 is something, unfortunately, a lot of people skip over, and I think it really limits their progress. For step number 1, we have to visualize our dream space. What do we want our space to look and feel like? When we think about simplifying, we might think about those beautiful examples of pictures we've seen online or on YouTube, but it's not actually our space. You have to visualize what you want that minimalist space to look like in your own home, because that is what you're working with. So you want to think through each area of your home, visualize how you want the room to be organized, what types of things are out and what is not. When you visualize what you want for your space, it becomes a lot easier to decide what items should be kept. Doing this step actually makes the decluttering process a lot easier, because when you're doing that ideal vision for your space, if a certain item is not involved in it or not part of it, then that's definitely something to let go of because it wasn't in your ideal picture. It helps us know what we're working towards as well. Tip number 2 is to start small. Whatever your goals are for your space, break that into small pieces. If you're starting with a room, that's great, but let's break it down into even smaller chunks. As many small chunks as possible. You might even find that one room can be broken up into 20 or 30 or even 40 small steps, especially when we break down each individual cabinet or drawer of other pieces of furniture, as well as different sections of the room. Starting small makes sure that you're able to have small victories that add up and give you the momentum to keep going. We wouldn't want to try to fizzle out or burn out by doing too much too fast. Just like if you were training for a marathon, you wouldn't start out sprinting or trying to run the whole thing. You would break it down into small pieces, and the same thing is true with decluttering. Strategy number 3 is to set numerical goals. And there's a lot of different types of numerical goals. Sometimes people have a goal of a certain number of items they wish to declutter over a period of time or just in general. Some people might say they want to declutter 500 items or 1,000 items during the year. Maybe they break that down further and want to declutter 50 items a month. Maybe they want to break it down and declutter one thing each day. Maybe they decide they want to have a total of 20 shirts in their wardrobe. Maybe the numerical goal is, I want to declutter my bedroom within these next 30 days. There's a lot of ways you can break it down, but as long as you have some numerical goals, it's a really great way to help track your progress. One of the easiest ways, especially if you're not getting a clear sense of visual progress. One of the best possible decluttering tips is to keep the best, declutter the rest. Oftentimes we have multiples of items or more items of a certain category than we need. And my whole opinion is, if you can only keep your absolute favorites, then you always get to use your favorite items. Don't keep the stuff that you don't really enjoy and that doesn't serve a useful purpose, because why would you choose that one when you can choose the better one? This also works if you've got certain items in reserve that you are waiting till something else is broken or used up before you switch to that. Ultimately, prioritizing the best one means you just get to amplify your overall quality of life. Number 5 is really important. Above all, remember that this is your journey and not anyone else's journey. There are so many complexities to each of us that make us who we are, and because of that, we all value different stuff in different ways. At this point, I've been practicing a minimalist lifestyle for 4 years, and over that time I've gotten rid of a lot, but I still have certain things that others might consider to be clutter, but they're not clutter to me, they're important to me. Likewise, I've probably gotten rid of a lot of things that maybe you would find valuable, but we're different people and we have different needs. There's no official rule book anywhere about what items everyone needs to have, as well as what items people shouldn't have. It's just personal preference and whatever your lifestyle looks like. So remember that this is your path. I love making videos that show people examples of things to declutter or what I have decluttered, like last week's video where I shared 100 things to declutter. But those are ideas. You ultimately have to determine what's best for you. And this is so critical because if we don't listen to what matters to us and that voice inside our heads, then we may make mistakes. If you declutter according to someone else's rules, you might let go of something that actually adds a lot of value to you. And that's not my intention. I want you to be able to be intentional about your lifestyle and your needs and your clutter. Tip number 6 is to remember that our things and belongings are just things. They are not people. They themselves are not memories. Our physical items are literally just our physical items. And sometimes we let our emotions play a bigger role than they really should. Decluttering guilt is a real thing, but the bottom line is that these physical items do not have to be and shouldn't be sources of guilt or negative emotions, and we can overcome whatever those feelings are to be able to let go of some of this excess and live in our dream spaces. If decluttering guilt has been a struggle for you, I will also link a video in the description field where I address the different types of guilt and how you can overcome them. Tip number 7 is often overlooked, but if this strategy is not followed, it's going to negate some of your progress from the first steps, and that is prevention. When we're letting go of something, it's probably because we realize we have too much in our lives, and in the past, we accumulated more than we should have for whatever reason. But no matter how much work you do at decluttering and letting things go, you will never achieve the progress you're looking for if you're not able to prevent additional items from coming into your space. It doesn't mean that you'll never be able to go shopping again, but what it does mean is you want to shop a lot more intentionally or to think very carefully before accepting something, even if it's free. If you've struggled with clutter, the reason you got to that point was because you accepted too much. Whether you purchased it, received it for free, you just have had it over time, or it belonged to someone else. I like to think about it as a two-way street. We want to let go of the excess, but we want to make sure that we're letting go of more than we take in. And some people do rules like the 1 in, 1 out rule, where if you purchase something and bring in something new to your space, you have to let something else go. You could even make it a little bit more challenging and have it be a 1 in, 2 out, which means for every item you bring in, you let go of 2 items. It really just depends on the person, but the idea is that we want to be very vigilant about everything that's coming into our space. And I know for me, that's one reason why I'm so passionate about teaching others about a minimalist lifestyle, especially young people, because they have their whole life ahead of them. They've got so many different choices ahead of them, many purchases that are ahead of them. And if they can start applying minimalist principles at a younger age, they're going to prevent perhaps thousands of items from entering their space, as well as having to pay for many of those items. The sooner we start applying minimalist strategies, the less decluttering we'll have to do in the future, the more money we'll save, and the sooner we have less of a negative impact on our planet. So it's really a win-win-win strategy. Finally, strategy number 8 is to maintain your progress. One mistake a lot of people make when decluttering is they put all their effort into decluttering exclusively, but then they don't implement good habits that are going to help them maintain that space. It takes much less effort to maintain than declutter. So if we can focus on maintaining our decluttered spaces, even if it's just 10 minutes a week to prevent clutter from piling up in certain areas, you can maintain the benefits that come from a minimalist lifestyle and prevent future decluttering from taking place. And this is the way that you can continue to make progress and build momentum and just build those good habits in your life. That wraps up my 8 tips for the video, but there are some additional strategies and supports in the decluttering roadmap. Once again, you can check it out in the description field of this video. I put it together for you as a free resource to help you be successful. Leave any questions or comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.